What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And today we are going to continue working on our ZL1, making sure that the paint looks as perfect as can be. That is loud. Now, before we get right to the video, guys, I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to each and every one of you guys that support the channel, all of my subscribers. You guys have been amazing. We are over 5,500 subscribers and well on our way to that 10,000 subscriber goal by the end of this year. So if you like what you see, if you like the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, consider subscribing, and hit that little notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of my videos. Now, the ZL1, of course, if you guys didn't catch my last video, we did get it prepped for the paint correction because we want to make this thing not only go fast but also look good while doing so. So today we're going to go into step 2 of the paint correction, which is actually machine polishing, and we'll go through and talk about all the products that I'm going to be using and how to actually use those products. The ZL1 is ready. We did have to remove the bumper last time to get to the TCM, which is just back here. Here is the harness, but that has already been shipped out to HP tuners. And hopefully we should be getting that back here in the next 3 days or so. So today is Wednesday. Possibly by Friday or Saturday, we'll have the TCM back and we can kind of put all this back up and together. Now, before we can actually get to machine polishing, guys, there are a few things we need to do on the car for prep. And luckily this car doesn't have too much going on. What I'm actually going to do is do painter's tape here on the edge here because it is kind of dirty and I don't want my pads to pick up any of that dirt. So all around here on the edges, we'll go ahead and put double-sided tape, and on the back side, not really needed. All this plastic trim around the doors, we do want to go ahead and tape off with painter's tape as well. Make sure that we don't have dust from the compounds accumulating in that area. But other than that, the whole car is pretty much painted, so we don't need to do too much. You can see, even though I washed it already, there is dust that accumulates here from just sitting here. So when we go through the steps, I'll show you guys what we have to do. We do need to make sure we wipe off all this dust before we start working on a panel. But anyways, with that being said, guys, after you have washed the car and clay barred and removed all the contaminants with the clay bar, then it is time to do the machine polishing, and I'm gonna show you guys. I've got a box here full of the stuff that we're gonna use, and I'll also show you guys the machine that I use, which will make it super easy, super simple to buff and polish this whole car so that we can get rid of any of the swirl. The main stuff that we're going to be using for the paint correction using the machine polishing, guys, is this blue Adams compound with the white polish. Now, for the white polish, we do have the Adams polish white foam pad, and for the blue compound, we've got a heavier cut microfiber foam pad, along with also just a standard blue foam pad. So the paint is actually, like I mentioned in the last video, pretty good condition. To actually run these pads, we are going to be using the Flex 304 VRG. This is a dual action forced rotation machine, and I've had this machine for quite a while, and I've got believe is a 5.5 inch backing plate and a 4 inch backing plate on that one. We're going to be using the larger backing plate, and this thing is great. Really gets the compound worked in and the polish worked in to get really good results with these products. So should be really cool to use. And then of course we're going to be using the graphene detail spray to make sure that our compounds are always lubricated, which is something that you're going to need. And we also have a bunch of microfiber towels. So very, very simple setup, nothing too crazy. The craziest thing is you do need to have this kind of machine. There's a bunch out in the market now that you can buy that are probably a lot cheaper. This was one of the OG original ones that you could buy and use way back like 6 years ago and still works great. But there's a bunch of new polishers out there that will do pretty much the same job. Now, so we've got our dividing paint line, and this is the area we're going to polish, and then hopefully we'll be able to see kind of clear distinction. Now, the metallics in the black paint make it hard to show up on camera, but there are quite a bit of swirls, and you can kind of see them there in the top edge right there. And what that does is it makes this flashlight look kind of dull, and we have that quite a bit all the way across here. So let's go ahead and do our first test pass, and we're gonna do the white polish first. We'll do one pass, and basically what we do is go left to right in overlapping fashion, and then top to bottom overlapping in squares. And you want to work small sections at a time. So like this fender, I would probably do in 2 pieces. I would do this whole section first, finish that off, and then come and work in this section. And that's how you want to take yourself. Do not try to do a full panel all at once. Go small, little by little, and do small sections at a time. So let's get right to the good stuff. All right, guys, so we're gonna use our polish, and we want to make sure you shake this up very, very well. You want to very well shaken up, and we're just gonna dab 3 dabs. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3 across this pad. You don't need a lot of material actually, so that's all that you need. You don't need much. And then shake your detail spray, and just 1 quick mist is all we need. And now you're gonna kind of just basically spread out your polish and get to it, guys. So let's get going. We do have the flex on the highest speed, and you don't need to put much pressure on this thing, guys. Alright, so worked in all the polish there. Now we'll get our clean microfiber and just wipe off across, get rid of any of the residue, and then we can run the light back over and inspect it, see if we see any more swirls or if we need to go with a heavier compound. And again, the fine polish typically will remove fine details, but deeper scratches we'll have to use the compounds. So let's get the light and see what it looks like. Okay, so we did 1 pass of the fine polish, and I can still see scratches, but it did work quite remarkably well. Let's take a look, see how this light is going, and then we bring it over here, and you see how much more spread out and diffused that center light is. And then we come up over here, and it's a lot more defined. So already 1 pass in, you can kind of see, especially around the edge here, it's so much more centralized, whereas when you jump over here, it's much more diffused. You can definitely see the swirls. So definitely working. Literally 1 quick pass, guys, and it really took out a bunch of the swirls that it had, the lighter swirls. I can still see some deeper scratches in here, so the fine polish definitely did not do the full 100% job, which means we're gonna have to go to that compound, the blue one. So now that we did 1 fine polish, we'll go ahead and now do the blue compound, And remember, when you do the blue compound, you have to go back again and do the white polish. So we're gonna, and it's gonna be the same with the blue compound. Work it back and forth, left and right, up and down, and then go back with the white polish. So let's go ahead, we'll do that. And when we're done doing the 2 passes, the blue and the white, we'll come back to it and show you guys what it looks like. Wow, and guys, this is basically what you want to see once you finish wiping everything down. Make sure that everything's still staying nice and clean. Got a little smudge there from this corner here, but nothing too crazy. Now let's look at this. Already I can tell you by looking at it without even looking at the light, just from the reflection of my light up there, it is a night and day difference. So here we are on this side where we've got a bunch of scratches, and you can see how the light is diffused. And now check this out. Oh yeah, much better. No more scratches. You can barely see anything. All you see is the metallic flake on the paint, guys. Very, very, very nice. Now, one thing I don't like about this metallic is it's very deceiving. It looks like there's still some scratches in some spots, but I can assure you that there is nothing, and this thing is looking mint. Now let's go ahead and remove this tape line so you can really see the stark difference from one side to the other. So here we've got the tape line, and you can definitely see as we move across how it just gets so much more basically swirled up. But this side is very nice, very clean. And then as soon as you move up, you can see, especially up here on the top, you can see some scratches. And man, I can't wait to finish the rest of this car now, guys. This paint looks great with the metallic flakes, and it's gonna look even better once we get rid of a lot of these swirls and put the ceramic coat. So now that we know exactly what we have to do to remove 100% of the swirls and scratches on the car, we can now get started on doing the rest of the car, guys. And those Adams products, guys, are super awesome. I remember way back when using the original first generation compound products and polishes, they left a bunch of dust and were very hard to work with, but this was super easy, super nice to work with, and really gives some great results. Leaves everything very nice. Now this piece is unprotected, so that's why we do have to go back and do the third step, which I'll show in a future video. But for now, guys, it's time to work and do the rest of this car, and hopefully get this thing looking pristine. But for now, it's time to start working on the rest of the car. I do have a few days to work on this, since I am still waiting for my TCM to come back. Hopefully by the time I can go around the car and get to the front bumper here, I will have gotten my TCM back, and I can go ahead and install the front bumper, put the wheels back on, and bring the car down so that we can work on the hood, the roof line, and the top part. But for today and the next couple days, my job is going to be to polish out all the way from one fender around to the other. If you're afraid to do the paint correction yourself, don't be. The Adams products help make this super simple and very DIY friendly, and even on a black car like this can give you some amazing results. Wow, paint correcting takes quite a bit of time, guys. That is one of the reasons why it can be very expensive to get a paint correction done on your car, because it takes quite a bit of time. I've been at this for about an hour, and I've only been able to finish this front fender and this door. You guys saw the time lapse of that. I mean, it does take quite a bit of time, and if you want exact perfection, after you do the 2 passes, you kind of go back with the light like I'm doing now, and you inspect to make sure that all the swirls have been removed. So there you have it, how to machine polish the way you want to prepare things, taping off all the plastics and making sure, doing some test passes to see just how many passes or what compounds you're going to need for your specific paint. If you're doing this on a pretty bad paint, then you definitely want to use the two-step method like I have used here, and I'm using it just to make sure I get a perfected finish. Not too difficult. But with that being said, guys, next video I'll have gotten through the rest of this and finished it up, paint corrected it, hopefully get the TCM back and install that, put the bumper back on and bring the car down, and finally show you guys how to ceramic coat this car using the Adams graphene coating kit. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.